Now, it's going to be hard to ignore some of the discrepancies, right?
Patrick Mahomes
at number 4 being one of them, right? A rather fascinating list, but that's besides the question. Obviously, we have all vehemently disagreed in private that Patrick Mahomes should not be the 4th best quarterback on any given list. But for the sake of time and solidarity, let's talk about Jalen Hurts. Top 5, 2-5, top 5, top 5, top 5. Going into the season, we wouldn't have thought that. Is Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback in the league?
No, he's top 4 in the league. I guess he is, but I want to be spicy. He's top 4. I mean, there's a lot of things we can look at, though, right? But when I look at Jalen Hurts in general, he's only been starting for, 4 years or so? And he's been to the playoffs all 4 years.
Every year.
He's only been starting in the league for 4 years. He's been to the Super Bowl twice. He's only been starting in the league for 4 years. He's won a Super Bowl in them 4 years. In the last 3 years, there's only one quarterback that had more wins than him. You know what his guy's name is? Patrick Mahomes. In the last 3 years, there's only one quarterback that had more touchdowns than him. You know what that is? Josh Allen. So when you talk about being a top guy, the question is not who's more talented. It's
that is the question.
Are you top 5 quarterback? And everything he does is win. If I draft a quarterback and I say, I want my quarterback to win games, make some accolades of all pros and some Pro Bowls, go to a Super Bowl and be the Super Bowl champion, you know who that is, ladies and gentlemen? That's Jalen Hurts. You know, and he's so special now. He's everywhere. I mean, he's everywhere, man. You see him on this magazine, that magazine. You see him at the Met Gala, right? And then they had the nerve. They say, hey, we need the Super Bowl winning quarterback to come up to the Met Gala. Joe Burrow, excuse me, brother. They talking about Jalen Hurts. So when you ask me who the top quarterbacks is,
you got both of them.
It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Josh Allen. It's Lamar Jackson. Number 4 is Jalen Hurts.
He's above Burrow.
It ain't about no stats, Joe Burrow. It's about winning games. And if you can't win playoff games and get to the playoffs, I can't have you in my top 5 in front of Jalen Hurts. I love Joe Burrow. But when they say, hey, we need this Super Bowl winning quarterback at the Met Gala, Joe, you look nice. Excuse me, brother.
That's true.
That's Jalen Hurts.
That's true.
If it were court, Jalen Hurts would be convicted of being a top 5 quarterback.
That's not the answer. That's not
There's
the
too much evidence to suggest that he is. He is. He's a top 5 quarterback. The evidence is overwhelming that would convict Jalen of being a top 5 quarterback. A Super Bowl MVP. I got to update my information. Another Super Bowl appearance. I got to update my information. Second most wins of any quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes. I got to update my information. He has made the playoffs every single year. I have to update my information. If we were in court, there is an overwhelming amount of evidence that would convict Jalen Hurts of being a top 5 quarterback. Now, the defense might try to present information of Joe Burrow's passing yards, passing touchdowns. Someone else might try to present information of Justin Herbert's elite arm or his 6'5" stature, but ultimately, I would show you hardware. I would show you a Super Bowl MVP. I would show you a Super Bowl ring. I would show you hardware, and I would mention all pros, and Jalen Hurts would stand convicted beyond debate of being a top 5 quarterback. He absolutely is. He has to be. With new results, with new accolades, with new information, it comes
how's your laptops to work with all these updates? It's a lot of updates, dog. You update every day, it seems like.
That's what Hurts does. That's what Hurts has done. I will go before you hit us with your graphics. But
You don't know I got a
he
graphic.
is absolutely a top 5 quarterback for a lot of the reasons y'all said, right? If this was a who you want to start your franchise with, different conversation and all that. But when you strictly talk about top 5 quarterbacks, number 1, he just had a parade in Philly.
It was nice, too, man.
He brought them that, you know. Looked like was the best quarterback on the football field. That's why he was MVP and his team dominated. He did that. Super Bowl MVP, all right, Super Bowl champion. Wow. We talked about most wins, 45-plus wins in the last 4 years. But the main thing about Jalen Hurts is what I will say is, because we just had a Dak Prescott conversation, be at your best when your best is needed. Say whatever you want to say about Jalen Hurts. When it's time to deliver and it's time to be at your best, he plays his best football. in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, to get to the Super Bowl. It's a lot of these quarterbacks, and I'll stay on Joe Burrow. His team could have been in the playoffs if he was at his best in certain games when his best was needed. He wasn't.
That's right.
Jalen Hurts is always at his best when his best is needed. And it might not be all these flashy stats all during the years and all, but when it need to make a play, whether it's with his legs or with his arm, he is going to will his team to victory. And that's just what he has showed us. So I'm not mad at him being in the top 5 because, to be honest with you, with his accomplishments, he's earned that. With the way he played in big moments, he's earned that. So I'm not mad at the top 5 at all with putting Jalen Hurts in there.
Is he 5 or 4, like Shady said?
Top 5, sir.
5 or 4?
I'm just saying it's top 5.
No, I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback. I think he's close. I can't sit here and say, and James, we did this topic quite a bit in the season.
We did.
We talked about Jalen Hurts quite a bit in the season. I think Jalen Hurts is switching the way we talk about quarterbacks. And I think that is a really big statement. Because it used to be, hey, does he have a big arm? Does he wow you? Can he make the out throw to the field? Can he do all this? Can he do all that? Now it's a lot. Can you win some championships?
So really quick, the Super Bowl, because at the end of the season, I was with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this stuff wasn't accomplished yet. This doesn't change your list. Like, he doesn't move up after
Sure,
a
he's
Super
moved
Bowl
up,
MVP.
but a top 5 quarterback for me, I can't go that far. And people go, you're hating, you're doing this, and you're doing that.
What's your belief?
The criteria for me, and for some people I've talked to, is if you put quarterbacks on the worst team in football, right? If you were starting a franchise, and the Titans were 3-14 record last year, who can most likely turn that team around at quarterback? That's how I view it. If you're starting a franchise today, who are you picking to play quarterback for you? And I have a tiered system. I don't have rankings. Let me tell you again before everyone freaks out. This is not in order. There's tier 1 and there's tier 2. For me, a tier 1 guy is a franchise-changing, franchise-altering quarterback. These are the best 4 quarterbacks in the game, and in my humble opinion, there is a big drop-off after this list in terms of what you can do. If the team needs you, can you win the game with your arm or with your legs? If you're down 14, who do I trust to do it? That's it. Jalen Hurts is squarely in tier 2. This is not in order. This does not mean Justin Herbert's number 5, right? In my opinion, I think Matthew Stafford would be 5 over Jalen Hurts. Then we can have a conversation. I can't sit here and put another Super Bowl champion that I think plays the game the right way. Same with Jalen, right? Just a different way. I think Stafford's 5. That's how I view it. So for me, it's one of those things. If you put these guys on a team, who are you most wanting to start a franchise with? Jalen Hurts is in that second tier of conversation. And I don't know if I updated my information. I don't know if I had him even in that second tier at the beginning of this year because he threw for 18 touchdowns. Like we've said, like he threw for 18 touchdowns, and I get that, a lot of rushing, I think 14 rushing touchdowns, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he's willed his team to win. He's had a great team around him, and he's played up to moments
Chase.
in clutch situations.
Let me ask you some peaceful questions. Please put his tiers back up there for the audience. I love Joe Burrow.
I love Joe Burrow, too.
Going into the season, Joe Burrow was my second best quarterback in all of football. When I tell you I love Joe Burrow, I love Joe Burrow. True. Unhealthy levels of obsession with Joe Burrow. I met him before, swaggy individual. Great dude.
Joe.
Love Joe. At the point in which Joe Burrow stayed healthy on this season and he missed the playoffs and chased your criteria, which I believe in, franchise changing, they didn't make the playoffs. Joe Burrow, I believe, only scored 9 or so points week 1 against the New England Patriots. That ultimately cost them the game. Blame Mike Gesicki if you want to. I believe he fumbled in the end zone. Love me some Joe. But if Joe was that good, that franchise changing, I believe the Bengals should have at least made the playoffs. I love me some Joe Burrow. But based upon that, I just want to peacefully ask, how can you still have Joe Burrow in tier 1 based upon the criteria of being a franchise changer when he did not even lead the Bengals to the playoffs this year? Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts has gone to the Super Bowl twice since Joe Burrow has gone, and he has won one.
Turn the tape on. What does it look like? Joe Burrow had his best year as a quarterback in the National Football League. 40-something touchdowns, almost 5,000 yards passing. Joe Burrow was surrounded by a much lesser team. Not on offense. Mm-hmm. They have two of the best receivers in the game. A much lesser team. The Eagles are a super team. If you put Jalen Hurts on the Bengals, I don't think they win 8 or 9 games.
But they missed the playoffs.
Sorry. If you put Jalen Hurts, I don't think they make the playoffs.
But the Bengals didn't either.
Huh?
Bengals didn't either.
I'm just saying that the team around you matters in how you handle it. Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. I get Jalen Hurts has done it as well. When you turn on the tape and you're watching it from a coach's perspective, who do you want to go out there with? I would take Joe Burrow.
Hey, can I ask a question? That's a good question. Turn on the tape, stats and all that, the way it look. Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Turn on the tape. You probably take Herbert before Jalen, right?
I never said that.
I'm asking because I know you like Herbert. I know you like the way he throws. You said turn on the tape.
Yeah, I think for me, it's I'd probably take Jalen because of what he's done.
Hold on. See, this is where I'm confused though. You just said
he's not top 5. Herbert's not in my top 5.
No. Hold on a second. You just said, hey man, I'm gonna take Joe Burrow because he turned on the tape, the stats, he gonna wow you and all that, right?
How many playoff wins does Joe Burrow have? How many playoff wins?
I'm just trying to ask some questions, man. This is not Corbin asking some questions. You said it on this part, right? That Joe Burrow looks phenomenal on tape. He had 40 touchdowns, all this stuff, yeah. Right? No playoff wins. I mean, he ain't go to the playoffs last year, but good stats. Turn on the tape. So I'm gonna ask you about, because you played with Herbert, and he gonna wow you with stats. Yeah. You got the most, yards in the first 4 or 5 years, right?
First 5 seasons.
Right, all that. Great arm strength. Yep. But then you say, when I ask you who's better than him, you say, well, I'm gonna take Jalen because he's done more.
Yeah.
Help us out with that. Because
Justin Herbert doesn't have a playoff win.
But I'm saying Jalen has done more than both of them.
Yeah, but just because Jalen's done more than one who has been to a Super Bowl and has multiple playoff wins and been to an AFC. If Herbert had been to an AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl, maybe him. That's just me completely being honest. And I don't know how I don't know how you can say that, not just you, that Joe Burrow, when you turn on the tape, is not a top 4 quarterback.
Here's how I would try to say it, right? Because
it can be fine.
Just because he's missed the playoffs.
No, here's how I would try to say it. It's similar to the basketball conversations we've had about Jason Tatum. If you turn on the tape, Jason Tatum is the best player on the series over the course of the regular season between the Knicks and all Celtics players. But in crunch time, in the most pivotal moments, Jalen Brunson is better. You turn on the tape, Joe Burrow a killer now.
Yeah.
He a killer, 2-5. He a killer.
He a beast.
But in the most pivotal moments against Washington, Jaden Daniels outplayed him.
Yeah.
Against the Patriots, Joe Burrow did not play how he needed to play. Yeah. Turn on the tape, against the Steelers, I believe the first time, Russell Wilson had his number. Yeah. You turn on the tape with Jalen Hurts, in the most pivotal moments, he outplayed Pat now. In the most pivotal moments, he outplays anybody that needs to be outplayed. So I do agree with Chase when you turn on the tape, quarters 1 through 3, maybe even 3.5. Joe Burrow a killer now. Joe Burrow a killer. Yeah. He a killer. But Jalen Hurts now, in them pivotal moments, he different.
Yeah, see, I think Chase needs to kind of look at it how I'm looking at it. You can't bring talent into this. Because once you bring talent into this, that's a totally different list. I think whoever ranked this list, and when we're talking about top 5 quarterbacks, it has to be winning in what you accomplished. This dude has all pros.
All pros.
This dude has Pro Bowls.
Pro Bowls.
This dude has been to the Super Bowl twice.
Twice.
He's been to the Super Bowl twice in 4 years.
Twice.
And he's won one, and he's outplayed the baddest man in the league, who we think is the best quarterback in the league, and Patrick Mahomes.
All right.
And he looked the best on the field, and he's a Super Bowl champion and MVP, had a parade. Awesome. So whether we like it or not, what he has accomplished, you have to put him in the top 5. So, now, if it was a talent on there, then this is a totally different conversation. Okay. The tiers are even different.
If you're talking
that's not that.
If you're talking like that, then, and you're talking like that, Jalen Hurts needs to be number 2. Because what does Josh Allen do? What does Lamar Jackson do? You can't talk like that.
But it's an argument, though.
No, it ain't even close, James Jones.
When you talk about what he's accomplished with his team, it's an argument.
Are you saying Jalen Hurts is 2? Based purely off of what you just told me.
So this is what I will say. If I'm taking the whole talent out of this, if I'm taking the talent out of it, because that's what I said. If I'm taking the talent out of it, Lamar's more talented. He's not better than Hurts in the playoffs. He ain't. He's not, and I'm a Lamar fan. If I'm taking the talent out, he's not better than him in the playoffs
right now. What are we doing?
So wait, can I say
You're
this?
bringing
Okay,
the
so
talent in.
But okay, yeah, and it has to be some talent in, James, based on your list. I would have to rank based on your list. I would have to
But
rate
you know
Jalen
what?
Hurts number 2 top
but hold on. But even
what
that,
are we talking about?
Okay, so even with the Jalen Hurts and Lamar, right?
Josh Allen.
MVPs.
hold on.
Lamar got 2 MVPs.
But hold on, that means you. Hold on now.
How many Super Bowls?
Chase, hold on, Chase. You gotta relax a little bit, dog. Hold on now.
It's 3 against 1. I'm ready.
I'm just saying,
What I'm saying is, so when you talk about quarterbacks, right? Okay, if you're not winning those Super Bowls, what you doing?
Correct.
Oh, you got
MVPs.
MVPs? MVP is the most valuable player in the NFL. All these great athletes, that means I'm the best player, so that matters. So if I'm picking with Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, I'm gonna go there with it because you are an MVP, okay? Lamar Jackson has 2 of them.
2 of them.
But what I'm saying is,
Joe Burrow ain't got nothing.
but for you to be, because Joe Burrow is probably one of the most talented quarterbacks. But when you talk about you are so good and so great, you can't take your team to the playoffs. Chase, I ain't talking about winning no game. I ain't talking about going to the.
He's done it before.
He ain't been there in 2 years though, bro.
He's been to the AFC
Real quick,
and
no matter no.
The 2 Super Bowls.
Hold on. Let me cut real quick. No matter how bad Jalen Hurts plays, how bad he plays,
They go to
he
the
gonna
playoffs.
always be in the playoffs.
They go to the playoffs.
No matter how bad
Because
Josh,
the team that
no
he's
matter how
on.
bad Josh Allen plays,
They're going to be in the playoffs.
we gonna go to the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, say whatever you want to say about it. My team, when I'm in the league, when I'm here, we gonna go to the playoffs. So my thing with Joe is, Joe, you are so talented. He is.
Yeah.
You can't even go to the playoffs?
But here,
That's hard for me, though,
Beyond that, let me add to that, Shady.
It's hard for me, though.
I don't think y'all at home realize Joe Burrow has no Super Bowl win. He got no Super Bowl MVPs. He got no regular season MVPs. He got no All-Pros.
He got 0 All-Pros?
No All-Pros, Shady.
I don't even talk. Yo, when it comes to All-Pros, I can't even talk to you a certain way. We on All-Pros.
No, I'm saying, Chase, ultimately,
It's like dating a girl that don't have no eyelashes. I don't really talk to
I'm
her
just
on
saying,
eyelashes.
what we doing?
The way
I'll do
y'all are
that.
talking about this does not make sense to me.
Let me try to make sense of it. If to your point, because I do hear you.
Thinking of the talent, dog.
if
You
you're-
have to a
If
little
you're
bit.
going, Chase, strictly off of accolades, if you're going off of accolades, you could go Pat. Lamar got 2 MVPs.
What's more important,
An MVP or
Acho?
Super Bowl?
Super Bowls or MVPs? What's more important? Super Bowl as a
you're-
quarterback, it ain't even close.
But here's the thing: if you're saying best MVPs, because MVP is an exclusive me award.
So what's your list? Top or not? Best or top?
Top. If you're going top, you can say MVPs because MVPs is a me award. The dilemma with Burrow, and again, I want to say Burrow. I like Burrow more than anybody on the set. I thought he was number 2 going into the season. How can I win that argument, Chase? If I'm in court, if
there's
I'm with you, he ain't got
more
nothing.
pressure for Joe Burrow to perform than there is for Jalen Hurts
course.
to perform.
I agree. We wouldn't
Jalen
argue
Hurts
that.
averaged 22 passes a game the last 12 games of the year.
I don't know.
22 passes.
I don't know about that, yo.
I do.
Yo, that boy played in Philadelphia. All right.
He's saying into the game, though. In the game.
In the
Oh, you
game.
okay. I'm about to say because if Jalen Hurts had them type of stats, right, whatever you're saying, and they lose,
miss the
and they don't-
playoffs?
if he don't go to the playoffs, oh my God.
We can also say up here that Jalen Hurts has helped carry a team, but that's a Saquon Barkley-led team last year. Let's be honest.
Of course, we wouldn't argue that.
And how many times were they down in
argue
the
that.
fourth quarter? How many times have we had to see Jalen Hurts lead his team back?
Saquon Barkley don't lose games for his team.
Jalen Hurts doesn't?
I mean, Jalen Hurts don't
He
lose
doesn't.
games
No,
for
he
his
don't.
team.
He doesn't. No, he don't.
He doesn't, Chase.
So now a top 5 quarterback doesn't lose games. Don't you want him to win games?
He do win games.
Bro.
He was the MVP of the
Chase,
Super Bowl.
like I said-
He was the
Y'all are
MVP of the
talking
Super Bowl
in
against Patrick
circles.
Mahomes. He did that.
Like I say, Chase, you're stuck on the talent, and I agree with you. If we are saying top 5 talents at the quarterback spot, I agree. I do not put Hurts up there. But this is not a talent conversation,
not.
and you know how I
It's
feel
not.
about Jalen Hurts as
Jalen
a
Hurts should be number
quarterback.
2 for you, based on what you're saying.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.